All right, welcome to the work week, everybody. It is 10:04 on Monday. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, guys.
Gabby.
Caitlin, we got Gabby in the
We're
house.
so lucky.
And it's so good to see you guys in the flesh.
I know,
Right?
it's been way too often.
We haven't been able to cross paths the last couple of weeks.
You've
so
just been
it's good to
bouncing
be
out
here.
and keeping busy out in the community, huh?
Making sure Chicago knows what's up on the streets,
Yes,
you know, all that
yes,
kind
no,
of
you've
stuff.
been keeping us informed. It is good to see you in person, Gabby. Hope you all had a great weekend. Got a jam-packed show today. We are going to be chatting, first off, with the filmmaker behind a new documentary that explores what happened here. This absolutely rocked the city in 2013 in many neighborhoods when all those school closures happening. There's a whole film exploring this topic and how it has reverberations all the way. We're 12 years later. Also, we're going to head out to the Shedd Aquarium to talk about their new addition. The baby otter has a brand new name. We're going to reveal it as well. Justine is going to be later to break down everything that's trending today. But before we get to all that, there's a reason that Gabriela Primus is in our midst to kick off the show. And that is because you have been out and about. You've been very busy. And I understand that you have hit yet another local pizza parlor to give us your review. Run us through.
Okay, so you remember it's been a little bit since we gave you that second bite review, and remember this is a playoff of Dave Portnoy with Barstool, his pizza reviews. You know, it's like one bite, that's all, and then he rates the place. Well, he's known to go around Chicagoland in the suburbs and of course in the city. And last time we did a spot that was up in Lincoln Park area, and it was great. I gave it a 10 out of 10. And guys, not spoiler alert, this place was also really good. This was in Cicero, Paisans Pizza.
As good or not as good?
It's really good. Let me tell you.
Not to be confused with Paisanos. So this is Paisans.
Paisans,
okay.
yeah. So it's a local spot in Cicero. They have now have more locations around southwest suburbs. Actually, it's kind of everywhere. Southwest and western burbs, if I remember right, but I also have to do a quick search on that, and you guys at home can do the same because you're going to want to try it. But this one we went to was in Cicero. It was their first location. It's been in the family forever, and just really great pizza. And when you step inside there, and this is something that Dave doesn't review, right, is the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So when you step inside there, you
Yes.
know it's like a spot that people love, they go to. You can see the years and years of history. The chefs, the owners, they really, really, really care.
Yeah.
And so Dave Portnoy went there. He gave them a 6.4, I want to say it was, on their pizza. You know, it's usually just a casual bite. He's talking about other stuff.
6.4, that's not that good.
And then, well, he's a
Hard-
rough critic,
yeah.
hard critic.
And it's
yeah.
on a scale of 1 to 10
It's
for
on a
Dave?
scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
if you've ever even given out a 10. Honestly, maybe I need to research that a little bit more. But he usually is a hard critic, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Gave it a 6.4. I have to say, he also seemed irritated just about the weather that day.
Oh.
It must have been like early spring, I think, and so it was kind of like dreary. He was mad about none of the pizza places being open, but Paisans is open for lunch, so he was able to go there. Yeah, 6.4. We tried it ourselves, but I want to give you a look at how it turned out. Coming out, Jimmy.
All right.
All right, we're at Paisans Pizzeria in Cicero on 16th. Jimmy, Dave Portnoy came and gave you guys a 6.4 review, but you think that you guys are way better than that, don't
Oh,
you?
absolutely. I mean, try this pizza out. You'll see for yourself.
Let's give it a look, right?
Yeah.
A lot of love goes into it. What'd you
Look at
say your
that.
slogan is?
You won't be disappointed.
Okay,
Look
well,
at it's a beautiful day out here too.
It is a beautiful day.
So we don't have a cloudy day.
Why don't we go inside and make this ourselves?
Let's do
Show
it.
us how it's done. Let's go. Ooh, it smells good. In the last few months, you had quite a special visitor, Dave Portnoy. He gave you guys a pizza review. What did you think of it? What was your initial reaction to hearing he came in?
Honestly, I was on spring break. I got a phone call from one of our managers like, Dave Portnoy's here. I go, oh. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it was very fair. Here in Chicago, we serve Chicago style pizza, you know, so looking at all the pizzas that Dave reviews at a high rating, it's more of that New York style with that burnt crust, not so many ingredients, light on cheese. Here at Paisans, we have a thicker crust, a lot of sauce, a lot of cheese, a lot of ingredients. So it's really two different types of pizza when you look at it. So I would have liked to see a higher score.
First steps, what's the secret to the dough?
So what we do is our dough is made daily at our commissary and then gets shipped out. When you get an 18-inch pizza here, or you get it at one of the other locations, it's gonna be consistent. It's not like you're gonna get a thin crust at this location and then there it's gonna be thicker. It's all weighed out along with all our ingredients.
The customers who typically come, what do you think they'd rate you?
We have a lot of customers that they love Paisans. They grew up on Paisans. Now their kids are growing up on Paisans. We're family owned. We're involved in our business. We run day-to-day operations, and that you don't see a lot of the times when you're looking at 9 locations and these places are huge. My grandpa actually came up with it, and then my dad took on, and now it's me, my 2 brothers, and we got a little sister in the business. The sauce, this is a key to the pizza right here.
the secret
This is
ingredient.
a sweet sauce. We have a sweet sauce, like I said. Here we are. We have millions of customers that love Paisans. We have 9 locations, so obviously if the pizza was 6 whatever that he brought, I don't think we'd have 9 locations.
Okay, best pizza in the world, Jimmy. We're gonna give it a try. Thank you very much. Okay, and the hard work is done. Just look at this baby. Nice cheese pizza made by moi and Jimmy as well. All right, everyone knows the rules. 1 bite. But first we gotta do a flop test here on 16th. Beautiful day, beautiful pizza. Here it goes. Nice and hot, crunchy on the bottom. Service, food, Jimmy, 10 out of 10. All right, again, I'm gonna take this home.
Yum!
I I know, right?
That
Paisans
looks
in Cicero.
amazing.
And you saw some of the video. They have pictures of their other locations. So their Cicero location is very like
Like the hub.
that's the hub. That's where everything started. Super old school, but still super cozy. And then they have the other Paisans, which are a little bit more like upscale, really nice inside. They have like the exposed, beams, everything
Right.
like that. But all across the board, they said their pizza tastes the same everywhere. So Jimmy was joking with me off camera there. He's like, you know, people say like, oh, Cicero location has the best pizza. Oh, the Oak Lawn location has the best pizza.
Same.
He's like, it's the same across the board, but it's that sweet sauce. And you caught him say it. It's not too sweet though, Caitlin.
I
It's
love
like
a
the
sweet sauce on a
perfect
pizza.
Me too.
amount of sweet, which I appreciated
Yeah.
because I
I
typically
need
am
to-
not a fan of sweet sauce. That was so good.
I need to try that.
Aurelio's kind of has a sweet sauce too.
Yeah, I'm
doesn't
a
it?
huge
but
fan
much
of
less
Aurelio's.
sweet than Aurelio's.
Less sweet
Less
than
I would say
Aurelio's.
less sweet.
I
And
dig
you
a
could tell-
sweet as well. Now, let's see. So, Gabby, this is your second 10. Your first review was a 10 as well.
Yeah, you know,
How is she not though? She's becoming friends with these people.
guys,
They're letting
I'm
her
giving
in their
it-
kitchen.
First of all, I'm a pizza fan, right? Okay, so kind of all pizza's good to me, but I am being honest, okay? Maybe one of these days I'll throw out a lower number, but I really like their pizza, and like I said, the second bite review that we do, this is a whole atmosphere.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
this is
yes.
a rating on the whole atmosphere, on their backstory, etc.
But you know what you
How
have to
could
do?
I not give
you
them
have
a
to
10 out of 10?
rank them. Rank them. So which one was better?
Okay,
Ooh.
one day when I have a couple under my belt.
Under your belt?
I'll give
Okay,
them
wait.
some
So they're
rankings.
both equal right now. Right now they're both equal. She's got to think about it.
They're both equal, but they're all both such different pizzas, Caitlin.
Yeah.
I do think that atmosphere is directly correlated with taste, and I actually have professional a professional reference on this.
Oh.
I interviewed Alpana Singh, who's a very, very well thought of local chef. She's kind of like a local celebrity
Yeah.
chef, and she has a couple restaurants here in the city. She's a master sommelier. I asked her one time, what is your favorite go-to casual restaurant here in Chicago and meal? And she said, it's funny that you did Paisans. Her favorite, and this was years ago, but she said the barbecue chicken salad at Paisanos. Paisanos. Okay. She's like, but you have to eat there. She's like, I need the smells from the kitchen. I need the red and white gingham checkered tablecloth.
Okay.
And so that is key to her whole experience. And this is we've been talking a lot about the bear, but I fully believe, and I've always said this too, the same meal eaten indoors in a standard kitchen, if you ever been, I don't know if you guys are fans of camping, but hot food and good meals out in the woods, when you
So
got
much better.
it
So good.
adds like 50%.
pudgy
I get it.
Don't you think?
I totally
it's
get
always
it.
so much better when you're
Yeah.
outdoors. So I definitely think that there is, atmosphere is key. And if you've got that like old school feel, it's way different than if you're just out front like
I get
Portnoy
it.
does it like
Yeah.
in front of the front door.
Yeah, and his like it's a minute. And again,
Yeah.
he's also taking the vibes from being outside. He was too cold, I guess. He was irritated. So that's another thing, okay? Delaney on our team, she does call it, I think, Gabby's too nice pizza review, something like that. And
Delaney's
that would
like,
make
you gotta
sense.
be
if you do know me,
Can we hear one?
sometimes I could be a little bit
one
too
critique.
nice.
Give
One
me a critique. One critique. Come on.
The first bite was too hot.
Oh, come on, Gabby. I
Okay,
don't
hold on.
blame
Let me
you.
ask you this. What is it called? Mouthfeel or texture?
Yeah.
All right. So it looked like when you did the flop test,
Yeah.
that it was nice
was
and
solid.
It was nice and solid.
Nice crunch on the
okay,
bottom.
the crunch factor. Okay, let's drill down here.
It was good.
Crunch factor from both of them, because I'm going with you here. We're gonna get some, criticism.
Okay.
All right. So between the crunch factor between the first place you went to and
Which
this
was
one.
what? What was the first
You know what?
place?
No, this one was much more crunchy. The
Okay.
first one was
Lincoln
like
Park.
Danucci's in
Yeah.
Lincoln Park. But it's a totally different kind of pizza. It's like
Was it a cheese as well?
No, correct me if I'm wrong from our peeps in the background, but I think it was like Sicilian style pizza where
So
it was
thin
more
crust?
like, and it had more of like the air bubbles in it.
Yeah.
They're both like thin crust, but had more of the air bubbles in it, like one that you would make fresh at home kind of thing. Where Paisans was a legitimate, 13-inch pizza where they had their whole assembly line down and stuff, and they had their secret recipes. So it was
If you
different,
could
guys.
listen to me, Gabby, you got to pick a
pressure.
lunch place today, pizza place, and you pick A or B.
Okay.
A or B.
You guys are too
One
hard.
or
See,
two.
this is why they don't ask them to
Yeah.
do this, because they want people
Hold on,
to think
Gabby.
everything
Pressure's
is
on.
nice, not
Also,
me.
I have another kind. I don't know. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Are
Anthony,
you?
give it a
And
rest.
feel free to say no. You're going to keep this because it's a personal question.
She probably
How
will.
many months out from your wedding are you right now?
Oh,
Like 2.
Okay,
And
so
so it
how
really
many
was
pizza
just one
reviews
bite.
can we send her on before
Yeah.
the wedding? There are
Please
fittings.
don't.
I know this. There are fittings
Please
that need to
don't.
happen.
You know what? But Dave, I guess, was just in town because I saw a video circulating around.
Yes.
He was in New Lenox
Yes.
at this one Ghost Coffee Roasters, and they have a pizza spot in the back. It's like kind of adjacent to the coffee shop. They have really great pizza. I don't know what he ended up giving them. I think it was a pretty high number, but they
I
were
saw that
thrilled.
same
in
thing.
New Lenox,
I was like,
Wait, I'm
New
gonna look
Lenox,
up.
Illinois?
Yeah.
How does he
All the
end
way
up?
over there.
And then it's interesting because in Chicago here, there are some big pizza names: Giordano's,
Yeah.
Uno's
Pequod's.
Due, Pequod's, Lou Malnati's. These places, and he finds places that I have
The
not
mom and
heard
pop
of.
shops.
Yes,
Yeah, he
I
does.
there was a lot of his his local
does.
reviews that I have not actually heard.
I
of.
have one request for him because my favorite pizza is in the southwest suburbs. Well, I think there might be one on the western burbs too, but it's Fox's Pizza
Ooh.
in Orland
wow.
Park. I love Fox's Pizza. I hear Jenna. I think they have one like closer to like Oak Lawn, Chicago Ridge, but it is just so good, you guys. It's-
Pequod's is my favorite. He gave a 7.4.
Wait, Pequod's?
Pequod's.
That's your favorite?
My favorite, and he gave it a
okay.
7.4
Yeah,
rating.
That's a
All
great
right.
rating.
I know we have people that are tuning in on both YouTube and Facebook. In the comments, I want to hear some suggestions. Maybe places off the map that we haven't heard of. Maybe some places we could send Gabby out to.
Papa John's, a little Caesars.
Papa John.
Please no. Okay, see that's
Little
just,
Caesar. Actually, I don't think I've had Little Caesar.
That would be
no,
funny
I've
if
had
you
it
would
back in
do.
the day.
A
I've seen
$5
it.
hot and ready?
I don't think
I don't
I've
think
had
I ever
it.
have either, Anthony.
Okay.
It would be funny though if you went to some of those like chain restaurants,
Oh,
just
man.
really greasy pizza, like
Domino's.
Costco.
I will say
Although I
Domino's
love
has
Costco
upped their
pizza.
game
I
since
really
I was
do.
a kid.
I'm trying to-
not a fan of Domino's back in the day, but my kids like it, so it gets ordered a lot. And I will say they've upped their game since the 90s.
Do you want to hear the list for Chicago from him?
Sure.
The rankings?
Okay, Caitlin.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So he rated Zarella Pizzeria and Taverna. Have you heard that place?
Yes,
No.
I have.
7.9.
Wow.
Vito and Nick's Pizzeria.
Vito
Yeah,
Nick's,
that's
yeah.
a
Oh, I
really
gotta-
popular
He
one,
got
really
they got an
popular.
8.1.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll put the higher ones. 8.1 also for Piz Amici.
Okay.
Don't know that place.
I haven't heard of it.
Piz Amici.
Pizza Michi, maybe?
8.2 for Lou Malnati's. 8.4 for Giordano's.
I love your.
Wow. I'm surprised. Okay. And then the other one, 7.6 for Bar Cargo. Never heard about that one.
Oh, that one's. I pass by that every day on my way into work. It's.
Do you?
It's right on Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pat's Pizza and Restaurante.
Pat's? Yeah, Pat's.
Pat's is
that's
really
well known on
popular.
the north side. Yes. What did he give that?
7.8. So
So
those are pretty
6.2
good.
or 6.4, that was low.
It
for
was low,
Paisans.
but yeah. Also, he catches people off guard. Not that they're
Yeah.
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't
Consistency.
be consistent, but they catch him off guard. People get
Yeah.
nervous in the
Totally.
back and
No,
stuff. So it's a lot of pressure.
So Giordano's is the winner according to him so
Okay.
far.
Well, I will say those situations don't always go well. I saw a post that crossed my social media feed where he got kicked out. He was doing a review. He was in the process of giving a negative review.
Oh no. Oh no.
The manager
no.
came up to him and goes, "Do you have permission to film on my patio?"
Oh, whoa.
And Dave Portnoy, it's hilarious. He's like, he spat it out, and he's like 0.0, spat out the pizza, stormed away.
Well, that's
But then
okay.
and then he later revisited. I think there was some kind of
Okay.
there was a
They came
backlash.
to an
People saying
understanding.
the audience came to that restaurant's defense. He wound up going back. They made amends. Like it's a
Okay.
whole subplot. It's a whole.
Yikes.
Wow.
I don't
You
see
gotta-
Gabby behaving like that.
Yeah,
I don't
let's just
see
say-
her going
No.
I
0.0.
can promise you I will
Okay.
not behave like that.
All right, Gabby, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'm
guys.
jealous
That
of your
was so
assignment.
great.
Yes.
Really, really well done.
Beautiful
Very
piece.
nice piece. And coming up after the break, we're going to go to break right now. But we are going to talk with the filmmakers behind a new documentary that explores America's largest ever mass school closure. Okay, I remember 50 plus schools got closed under the Emanuel administration. This is back in 2013. There's a whole film about it, and we're going to be talking to the creators right after this.
For what to do with abandoned schools, and all of our community organizations were willing to take on the task.
Well, this has happened in other states. People are repurposing schools with community leading the process. It can happen here.
If we start to work together and think about what we have rather than what we don't have, I believe that we have the ability to do some really great things.
Yes, this is a great loss to our community, like so many other things. But how do we turn this loss into an actual win?
Why shouldn't we be bold? Why shouldn't we be ambitious? Wasn't redlining bold? Wasn't, restricted covenants bold? Wasn't it bold to close 50 schools? These moves, these decisions, they've been bold decisions made by people in power. So obviously, community needs to be bold as well in order to reclaim what is ours.
And once they start believing it, there's nothing, the project's gonna happen because no one will be able to rest until it does.
I think it's gonna be one of the most impactful things that we probably have done in the last 50 years. And that's what this project represents for me. It represents making the impossible possible.
All right, so in 2013, Chicago experienced the largest mass school closure in U.S. history. The school closures deeply impacted communities, and since residents have faced obstacles trying to repurpose these buildings for public good. So a documentary that we just saw a little preview of from Borderless Studio and On the Real Film takes a closer look at 3 of those 50 closed schools. Beyond Closure premiered to a sold-out crowd last December, and this summer it's being screened across the city. Schools can really be turned into some beautiful things. I know, even in the city of Chicago, there was I think I told you about this. A girl who used to work here lived in an apartment that was in a school that.
Oh yeah,
like a historic
they have
building that
been.
used to be a
Yeah,
school.
there have been conversions like that. Yeah, there's a couple I know of in Uptown, and they're beautiful,
Right,
beautiful.
huge buildings, the gymnasium, the windows,
with huge
all of it.
windows
Yeah.
and everything. But joining us to talk more about the film and its impact is the creator and executive producer, Paula Aguirre Serrano. Paula, Thank you so much for joining us on Chicago Now. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to sharing more about this work.
Okay, so you zeroed in on 3. I remember I was, a general assignment reporter at the time when the Emanuel administration initiated these closures back in 2012, 2013. You've zeroed in on 3 of the 50 plus closures. How did you choose these particular locations?
Thank you. That's a really great question, because we could have done so many, zoom-ins or case studies. I think, well, one of them, Overton Elementary in Bronzeville, future Overton Center for Excellence, is a school that we've been working and activating, keeping it active and connected with the community since 2017. So that was a natural case study for us to think about how do we tell the story of this work and how can we inspire others to take action into reclaiming spaces, partnering with new owners of the schools and other ideas that can keep community connected. And then along the way, through all this research throughout the years since 2017, we've been learning about other efforts. So Woods Academy in Inglewood and Emmett Elementary in Austin in the West Side. So we've been, let's say, just following their stories. And by the time that the 10th year anniversary of the closings came, we thought these are really great case studies, not only because they're similar in scale. These 3 buildings are between 60 and 70,000 square feet, similar area as well, but also because they're being led by community. So they're community-led efforts, community-based organizations that are taking on the challenge and also demonstrating how this repurposing can be done with community at the center.
So the closures of these schools, why is it such a big deal to these communities? How is it impacting them, maybe even mentally, when these schools close?
Schools are in the heart of neighborhoods. The life, they represent the daily life of parents, of staff, of teachers, and families around living in these spaces. So, once those places go quiet, are boarded, are lifeless, that definitely is an incredible impact. And, we had a lot of conversations over the 6 months since we premiered the film about, yes, there is a need for recalibration of these facilities. We all know that. It's not the if it happens, it's how it happens. And this is where, we want to provide to showcase examples of how can this be happening in a much more just and equitable way and with community at the center. The big question, I guess, it is where the funding comes from, what are the resources, what are the partnerships that can lead to amazing stories like the one that Aspire Center, former Emmett School, one of the schools that is featured in the film, just opened last Juneteenth. And it was an amazing showcase of how this 7-year project took a lot from everyone involved in it. Their leadership through Austin coming together and the West Side Health Authority and multiple partners. It was an incredible story of showcasing how this can be done. But, we still have 26 schools that are closed, and there's a lot of work and resources that are needed for that.
Could you zero in on that particular location and why was it such a success? What is it now, first of all? Give us the cliff notes here. I know you don't want to do a full-out spoiler alert, but I'm unfamiliar. What's the status of that former school?
Yeah, it's, these buildings have deferred maintenance, number one. The buildings that they need a lot of resources. For instance, Austin Emmett's school, it's a 70,000 square feet building that started with a budget of $20 million, and all of a sudden, because the time frame of the development of the building ended up being a $40+ million project, which means the amount of resources that need to be fundraised are, a big undertake for community organizations that are locally based. But also, the story behind Emmett Aspire Center now, it was that there was an initial proposal that came to the community led by the alderperson, and the community was very keen on, hold on a second, Alderman, this is not our vision. We want to create our vision. That's when, led by the Quality of Life Plan of Austin, the organization Austin Coming Together and the West Side Health Authority led a community process where everyone had an opportunity to say what they wanted for the building. So, and I'm I'm telling a very long story in a very short amount of time, but the result was the development of the Aspire Center for Workforce Innovation, which has an amazing array of partners to serve the community with the future of like what the workforce could look like, especially in communities that have been impacted for long decades in Austin and the west and the south side of the city.
So what are you hoping comes from this film? Do you just want to draw attention to the problem of closing schools? Are you hoping to raise money for these different schools that you mentioned here in Chicago? What do you hope comes from this?
Well, there's a couple of calls to action. I think number one, we all know, we now know, what does it mean to close 10 schools at once, to close 50 schools at once. We know the resources, the time frames that takes them to develop. These are not naturally occurring projects. These are not projects that are easily developed through market forces. So what we learn now is that there really needs to be the leadership of our city officials, our mayor, our commissioners, our older people, to think of partnerships, right? We know resources are limited. We know there's challenging time for every single piece of social infrastructure in our city, but schools have a very important role in the place and the role in neighborhoods. So what we want, our call to action, I guess, is how can we be creative with the resources that we have? And our city leaders could help to foster new partnerships, to think of how are ways in which we can support communities participating actively in the repurposing processes of the schools. As I mentioned, as of 2023, still 26 of them are closed. It doesn't matter that they have been purchased by local organizations or others. There's still a very important effort in redevelop them physically. The physical infrastructure, right, takes place. So Woods Academy, for instance, right now has $1 million gap to complete a project that is like plus $20 million. So we need our civic leadership, we need our city leadership, philanthropy, everyone to step up and really think of how can we all together collectively contribute to repurpose these schools one at a time, right? Overton similarly still in the assembly of capital for its complete redevelopment. So it needs to be a collective effort from all our city resources to see the schools repurposed and alive again.
Do you think that the luxury apartments or condos and everything, is that a worst case scenario in your mind, or is that better than just having a vacant building sitting in the middle of a neighborhood?
I think that is one possibility. I don't see luxury apartments being necessarily the one answer. I think, there are other facilities and programs and services that our communities still need. For instance, housing, yes, that is an alternative. Woods Academy, it's becoming the Regenerator project. That's one of the other projects that is featured in the film that is becoming affordable housing for reentry residents. So housing, and it's paired with a health facility center and other amenities that the community needs. But housing is definitely a possibility. I think affordable housing is a much more pressing need, particularly because the west and the south side, where the majority of these buildings are located, are in need also of services that improve and help the quality of life of its residents.
Okay, beyond closure, if someone wants to find your film, where should they go to watch it?
Yes, we finished our first 6 months of touring. We've been really fortunate to be partnering with a lot of our academic institutions in Chicago, UIC, University of Chicago, IIT, other organizations. So we are exploring now virtual screenings. I think one of the very exciting things that has happened is most of the screens have had a panel discussion with the participants of the film and other local stakeholders. So we will continue to post in our website, beyondclosurefilm.com. The upcoming screenings. If you are interested in hosting or partnering a screening, let us know. That's also information in the website, or just sign up for updates in the newsletter that is also available in the website.
Very good. Paula Aguirre Serrano, thank you so much, and look forward to seeing the film. I hope it's a huge success.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Oh yeah, it's pleasure was ours. All right, it is 10:36. We're going to go to a short break. But when we come back, we're going to get another visitor on set. Miss Justine Baker is in the house to run us through everything trending here in Chicago as we kick off this holiday. Hopefully it's a shortened work week for you. We'll be right back.
10:38, and we are all about what's trending today. Good morning, happy Monday. Justine is with us. We're so lucky to have you in the studio.
Yes. So the first thing that I'm talking about today, we talked about it earlier on GDC, the Beyonce concert malfunction. So if you haven't seen the video, Beyonce is in the air on a red car, and the car slowly starts tilting. And you can see that she's kind of panicking, but she's very calm with it also. Like, she's like, okay, stop, stop, stop. You can hear her say stop. They eventually get to lower her, and she says, I want to thank y'all for loving me. If I ever fall, I know you guys would catch me, to her fans. So she did a really good job maintaining her calm, even though she was going through this. So
does she have a, I'm trying to see if she has like a harness on her belly.
she has a harness on. She does.
Okay. But she's probably on the car that's also sideways.
Right.
Like harnessed to the car.
In a perfect world, that car, is it supposed to be look like it's floating, but it's upright?
Yep, it's upright, it's straight,
and it's supposed to go right over the crowd.
Correct. And it just slowly starts tilting. It got all the way to the point that she's like, stop, 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 stop. Music stops, she pauses, and they eventually lower her down to the ground.
I mean,
if
it kept tilting and it goes completely vertical, like you're saying she was roped in herself.
She was roped in herself.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
But like the crowd too. I mean, that is, we used to talk about the wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
The infamous wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl, Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. This would have been a mass
catastrophic
tragedy if, I mean,
something
that is a
happened to
high
Beyonce.
risk.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was supposed to drive over the crowd. I thought it was just like lifting her up.
It's just floating a little bit over the crowd, just a little bit.
Oh,
so,
wow. Someone got fired.
Right.
I mean,
but she's a queen and she handled it perfectly.
She did.
So she really like ad-libbed that line, I know if I fall, you guys would catch me. That's like
genius, marketing genius.
Yeah.
The second thing that's trending is Chicago summer itineraries. So according to Choose Chicago, over 55 1.3 million people visited Chicago whole last year, so 2024.
Okay.
The majority of those numbers came from the summer. So people are looking up what are some things to do in Chicago. What are your top 3 things that you would suggest someone visiting to check out?
One of mine is kind of general, but I'm sticking my guns here, and that is get out of downtown, get into the neighborhoods. You know, get into the neighborhoods. In the summer, maybe check out one of those neighborhood festivals. I would recommend, I think further out than that. Old Town is like, I don't know, in my mind, almost an extension of downtown. But I would suggest Andersonville. I would suggest Hyde Park. I would suggest Lincoln Square, probably. I would suggest Logan Square.
That's a good one.
I would suggest people go shopping around on North Milwaukee Avenue, where there's all those boutique stores instead of these the fancy Oak Street. You know, everyone's down at Oak Street.
The giant
with
Starbucks.
the giant. So that would be one of mine.
Yeah,
I love it.
I would say the beaches. 100% go to the beach.
For
If you have a dog, go to the dog beach.
For sure. That's a great
Very
one.
special.
That's a really good one.
And then, of course, you got to go see the bean. Go take a picture in your reflection.
The what?
The
Oh,
bean.
the bean. Okay. Yeah,
Cloud Gate.
Yeah.
The Tower Lean. I think that might be cool.
Oh gosh, I would not do that.
Is that
That's
the
not in my
360
wheelhouse.
one?
Yeah, the tilt.
I think it's
Well,
called
there's the tilt, and then
tilt,
there's like, what's the one at Navy Pier?
where you have the
virtual. I did this. It was
and it makes you sick.
was it?
awesome.
The flyover one?
Yes, Navy Pier. Thank you. I did that with Theo because he was raving about it, and I was like, come on, this is like Navy Pier. I'm a Chicagoan. Like, I don't do Navy Pier. That's like for out-of-towners.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Changed
it
your world.
over-delivered, and it made me fall in love all over again with the city. Not that I need to, but like the way they have it edited and the way they have it set up, you go into this room and they give you like a little history lesson about the city, and then you go and you do the experience, and they do A+. Wow. There's an option to do like, you can fly over the fjords of Iceland or something like that. No. Do Chicago. Do Chicago. They take you through the neighborhoods too.
Beautiful.
That
And then
sounds
you
so
don't even
fun.
have to go. Navy Pier, the architecture tour. Take the boat architectural tour. Gotta do that.
The
100%
Chicago
gotta do
Architecture Foundation architecture tour.
That. That's the one.
I would say Navy Pier, the concerts. I think they have really cool live concerts there.
Yes.
The fireworks. I know a lot of people say Navy Pier and the tourist trap, but I think it's great. They have so many cool experiences.
It is nice that you can do free fireworks. Here's another Anthony Ponce original
double-decker
recommendation.
red bus.
Take the water taxi. The double-decker, I'm the first to ever suggest that. No, you take the water taxi from right downtown. It's like $2. Take it down to Chinatown. Get off at Ping Tom Park. All right? Get off the water taxi, have some dim sum down in Chinatown. Hop the water taxi back to the downtown area. A great ride. It's a
perfect evening.
It's perfect evening or daytime event. It's beautiful, and it's not. It doesn't break the bank, and you get like an authentic. You get into one of the neighborhoods, Chinatown, awesome neighborhood, and you get a boat ride, which costs like nothing because the water taxi goes all the way down there.
Is this how you charmed Maggie? You came up with these wonderful dates?
I did take her to Montrose Beach. On one of our first dates, that's actually where we got engaged.
No way.
And I'm hugging all your time. Hold on.
No, I'm loving this story. I'm loving
I'm
it.
telling you, you guys take these
Good.
you
got it.
Yeah. There's an amazing view of the
This is what
skyline
we're gonna do.
from Montrose Harbor. You can go out on this peninsula and you get the full skyline with the water in front. And
All right, guys,
very
take
romantic.
notes.
Right,
Take
if
your
you
lady
need
on a date.
summer itinerary ideas or date
Done.
nights, you got it.
Woo!
So that next thing that people are looking up is pet safety in the summer. I know we've got a lot of heat coming up, especially this week. So the Illinois State Veterinary Med Association released some tips. So the number one tip is that if it's a hot ground, your pet's paws are going to be hot. So you want to walk early or late. The shade and water are must-haves in the summer. Never leave pets in cars. Know the heat stroke signs for pets. So the number 3 ones are vomiting, red gums, and wobbling. So if your pets are doing any of that, you might want to cool them down a little bit. Snub-nosed dogs, which are Frenchies, they and senior dogs and overweight pets overheat faster, so you want to take caution on that. And then also the another number one thing is keep scraps away from pets. I know we're going to be barbecuing this weekend.
Yeah.
Some food items are kind of poisonous, are not so great for your dogs. Tomatoes, onions, ice cream, and mustard.
And they will eat anything.
Yeah, they will eat anything.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, grapes.
Chocolate.
Okay, these are important reminders.
Yeah.
Justine, thank you so much. Stay safe with your pets out there. We're going to continue right after this break with the animal theme. This is very exciting.
Very
We're going to get the
exciting.
big reveal. We talked about this last week. Shedd Aquarium, they've got an adorable new addition. It's a baby otter. They had a naming competition.
Named Blueberry. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she wanted it Blueberry. We're going to
We're gonna get the
learn
name.
what the winning name was live with the folks over at the Shed when we come back.
(10:48), welcome back. So last week, the Shedd Aquarium invited the community to take part in a special event, helping to choose the name for their newest rescued otter pup. So this otter is Otter 937, now joining us to share more about this adorable pup, the Shedd's ongoing efforts to protect endangered species, and the big chosen name is Andrea. Oh, thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey,
We're so
Andrea.
excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this news with you and with Chicago.
I love this. So I just saw at 10:17 a.m. an email to the newsroom that came. I didn't peek because this may be the broadcast. This may be the broadcast unveil.
Yeah.
Andrea, take it away. Well, first of all, before you unveil, tell this process. A lot of times, this is like organizations do these online votes where it's like who can vote the most often. It's about social media. But my understanding is you made people vote in person for this, right?
Yeah, we did. This was a really exciting opportunity, kind of a surprise and delight, we like to call it, for our guests. They were just out watching the otters in front of the exhibit, getting to watch them dive and groom and play. And we had staff members out there with tablets, and we were able to connect with them and have them help us name. So just for getting to visit, just for coming to see us and to watch the otters, they got to have this incredible opportunity to help name our new resident.
There were 4 or 5 different options. Run us through, do the unveil. I'm all ears here.
All right. So we had, yes, you're right, 4 options that we could have named Otter 937, or our guests could have named Otter 937. Marina, which is after Marina, California, where she was rescued as a pup in 2022. Jade for Jade's Cove, which is just south of the Monterey Bay area. Ray, in honor of the Monterey Bay area, as well as one of our partners and founders of the Sea Otter Surrogacy Program. Oh my goodness. I'm blanking. Oh my, so sorry about
Blanking
that.
on
Well,
the last
let
one,
me
but-
just. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Isa. Absolutely.
Isa.
So
Oh,
that's
Isa
right,
is after
that's
the
right.
Endangered Species Act. Yes. But the winning name that our guest chose was Jade.
Jade.
Cute.
So
That's
cute.
That's kind of a stylish name.
Yeah.
Jade.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's very on brand.
Oh my gosh.
Did
so
you
great.
vote too? Was the staff able to take part in the voting and choosing of the name?
We did not take part in the actual voting, but we did help in the selection of the names to provide our guests the opportunity to pick it.
So Jade, give us the update on how Jade is doing and kind of integrating Jade. This is a rescue pup, so like, how does that process work, and what are some of the challenges in kind of introducing Jade to this new environment?
Yeah, great question. So she just celebrated her 3rd birthday, estimated. She was rescued, like I mentioned, in 2022 by Monterey Bay Aquarium. Unfortunately, she was found separated from her mother, and that area is just very well known for rough seas. So they were unfortunately unable to reunite her with her mom. So she came into human care and then was transferred eventually to Aquarium of the Pacific, which is another one of our partners along the western coast. She then traveled to Shedd on May 1st of 2025. So she's only been with us for a couple of months now. And for the first month or so, she was behind the scenes, getting to know my team, kind of become familiar with the space and just get acclimated. Since then, she's doing really well. She's been introduced to our public-facing exhibit. She's already met a couple of the other rescued sea otters that are part of our raft here at Shedd. And she's settling in really well. So we are very observant when we have a new animal here at Shedd, making sure that they are behaviorally adapting well, medically doing well. And we're seeing all really great signs from her. She's exploring her environment. She's interacting with the other otters, interacting with her animal care staff, and doing all of those natural otter behaviors that we look for.
So I've got so many questions,
Me
but
too.
I'll start with
Me too.
the story of her traveling. So why did we get her? And then what is the travel like for an otter across the whole country?
So we at Shedd are very fortunate in that we have a long history of caring for sea otters, and we have the expertise and the resources to be able to do that. We often will help with rescue and rehabilitation as well as providing forever homes. But Jade is actually here for a very special reason. So we partner with Monterey Bay, Aquarium of the Pacific, and other partners who really put forth the Sea Otter Surrogacy Program. And that program is focused on rehabilitating and boosting the wild population of southern sea otters who are still endangered. So Jade, she's only 3, but she will eventually return to one of those West Coast facilities and act as a surrogate mom for a rescued pup. So she'll be able to teach those important skills like grooming and diving and foraging, and then that pup can be released back into the wild, thereby actually boosting that population.
Has Jade, you said that she's been introduced. How is that process going? Is it, for example, we got a new cat at one point and never, it was oil and water with the existing cat, okay? They never clicked. Are there challenges like that?
With otters?
We definitely
With otters?
prepare for that. Yeah, they all have different personalities, absolutely. But we work really closely with our otters, and we know them very well. So we try and take it slow. So she actually met Luna first, who is our oldest female sea otter here at Shedd, who also, Luna has a wonderful history of getting to know new otters. So she was a great first introduction. And we just take it slow. So she's also met Watson, one of our 6-year-old rescued males, and they're getting along really well.
Oh, that's great.
So-
Okay, she's got friends.
And I feel like otters, don't you just picture them being the sweetest little creatures?
Of course.
Like there's no way they would even look sideways at another otter. Anyways.
You would think, but,
right?
yeah.
So the otter day to day, what is the day like for Jade from start to finish?
We love to vary their day. Variety is wonderful. It gets them mentally stimulated and provides them opportunity to kind of have to problem solve. So we'll do a variety of different enrichment sessions or training sessions directly with the animal. And that could be working on anything from a voluntary medical behavior. We talked about transports earlier. They actually voluntarily will enter essentially like a really large dog kennel, and that's how they travel. So it's something that they're comfortable with. We practice those behaviors every single day. But also enrichment. We talk about wanting to stimulate natural otter behavior and things that we want her to teach future pups. So for example, we have different enrichment devices that might mimic kelp that you would find on the bottom of the ocean floor. And she has to work on diving all the way down, holding her breath, foraging, putting all those goodies in her pocket, and then coming up to eat.
Sounds like a fun little project.
So cute.
Yeah, right.
If folks,
Absolutely. So we like to give a lot of variety for them.
Andrea, if folks want to see Jade in person at some point, how would they go about doing that?
You're always welcome to come visit us here at Shedd Aquarium. There's also wonderful blogs on our website that you are more than welcome to read and gather more information. But yes, she is spending increasing amount of times out on our public-facing exhibit with our other otter rafts. So please come on down for a visit, say hi to her, and get to know the rest of our raft.
Oh, one more question before we let you go. Jade, in terms of size, how does Jade stack up? She's 3, you mentioned, to like a full-grown adult sea otter. And what is the life expectancy?
She is still a little bit smaller than our other otters. She is about, she's about 20 kilos right now, so about 50 pounds. And she'll get a little bit bigger than that. Typically, female southern sea otters do kind of stay in that 50 to 60 pound range. You might see the northern subspecies get a little bit larger. But yeah, she is still quite young. So otters in the wild may live into their teens, but they develop health issues just like we do. In human care, we've had them live into their 20s. But we're able to provide them with excellent medical care, sustainable restaurant quality seafood, and really just the best setup that we could give a geriatric otter. So they all have many years ahead of them.
A great home with you guys at the Shedd. Say hi to the whole team. We love you guys over here at Fox Chicago. Can't wait to get back to that oceanarium very, very soon. Andrea, thank you so much.
Thank you both so much. Have a wonderful rest of your morning.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
All right, we're going to take one quick break and we'll be back with, to wrap up the show right after this.